Hi, my name is Stephanie Williams, and I'll be doing my global learning project on my neighbor, Leah Kamana. Leah is 100% Polynesian, and her family originates from the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Pretty much everything about us are pretty culturally different. I've grown up in Michigan my entire life, and she's grown up in Hawaii her entire life. And as cliche as it might sound to us, it is very common for her to go surfing every day. That's something really big that she does with her friends. She's also said that if she wants to work out, she'll go climb a volcano or a mountain near her house. Um, on top of that, this is kind of cool. Her family actually owns a ukulele factory, so all of her siblings and her relatives and her cousins can all play the ukulele, and I think some of them even know how to handcraft them. So that's a really cool family tradition for them to do that's really culturally different from anything that we would have around here. Even the food sheets are pretty different. A lot of them are Asian inspired, sorry, and she eats a lot of sushi and a lot of fish and rice and fresh produce right from the island. So that's also something different that we have from Michigan. This is really interesting and kind of a little sad to some extent. I've heard from her and a couple other Hawaiians before actually that they do not really consider themselves American. They realize that their state is part of America, but they are Hawaiian. If you ask them where they originate from, they'll say they are from Hawaii, and you ask them what ethnicity they are, they'll say they're Hawaiian. That's just something very culturally important to them. And Leah's actually even said that growing up in her schools, they didn't learn the national anthem and they didn't hang the American flag. Like, that's just not part of their culture, and I think that has a lot to do with our history with them. Before they were colonized by America, they had a king and queen, and they had their own traditions and cultures, and I think America just kind of came in and tried to take some of that away from them, and so I think the locals still really hold true to their roots and their traditions there. It's also kind of interesting. There's only a couple of Hawaiians here, obviously, because it's so cold, but Leah will actually have them over to her house every once in a while. They try to meet up every month or so just to stay in touch and hang out together. Um, and I actually got to go to her house one time when they were over and talk to them, but I'm hoping that she'll invite me over again to host me for her term. And I'd really like to talk to those kids also more in depth about their culture and the difference between Michigan and Hawaii, and that barrier between being considered American versus Hawaiian. I think that's actually really interesting, and there's a lot to be said about how America just colonized them. But for my activities, I would really like to do something inspired, something that she couldn't do in Hawaii. And she actually told me she's never been sledding before. So there's a tubing place a couple minutes away from here that I'd really like to take her to. And that kind of is resting on if we get more snow or not, because right now it's just kind of ice. So maybe this winter snow warning, and out east will bring us some snow over here. So then we'll probably do that either this Saturday or next Saturday. Another option I was kind of looking at was going ice skating at Munn Hockey Field. I've never been to Munn actually, and she said she's been ice skating before, but I don't think she's ever been there. So that'd be really interesting to go there. They have open skate every day, and you can do it later on weekends. So probably a weekend we'd do that, and that'd be nice because then it would really just be us, and we could talk a little bit easier. And then my third option that I was kind of looking at was actually attending an MSU men's hockey team game. That's not until February 7th, though. They're playing against Pennsylvania or Penn State. So that would be kind of fun. She's a sports journalist major, so I think she'd really like that. And I've actually never even been to a game, so I know I'd really like that. And again, we could talk a little bit easier and really get to know more about her culture. And we get to be Spartans together and root on a Spartan win, hopefully. So I think that would be fun for both of us. But yeah, I just really wanted to keep to kind of a snow theme. She said they get snow on some of the peaks of the mountains, but she never gets it down by her. So I just think that would be really cool to integrate Michigan culture for me with her. So we'll look into that, but that will definitely happen within the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably on a weekend. So I will check back in for my next video vlog. Thanks.